This is Steve Woodruff with another episode of Clarity Over Coffee. Today I want to talk about how we can best offer what we do, our services, to our clients who may be in a different type of situation. So for instance, in recent weeks, we've all had our businesses upended by the coronavirus. And what that means is that we're speaking into a different environment where people maybe can't make the same decisions they used to make, can't make the decisions on the same basis they used to make it. And often what we have to offer either is irrelevant or needs to be changed so that people can do something with it. So here's what I go through in my exercise. I'll give you a couple examples of it after I tell you about it. And you may find this helpful in re-architecting the way you message your marketplace. I look at 3 F's. First, the feeling. What is my target customer feeling right now? As we all know, emotion, felt need, is what really drives a purchase. It's not just rationality, and it's not necessarily, especially nowadays, the long term. But it's what do we feel right now? How can we articulate that in such a simple way that it sparks us to recognize, oh, if that's the way they're feeling, if that's the need they're feeling, then maybe I need to do this. Which leads to the second thing. What's our fix? What is it that we're going to offer that's going to address that feeling, address that immediate need? It may be different from what we've normally done. And then finally, once we've defined those two, what's the first step? Feelings, fix, first step. First step for me, when I talk with my clients, is to iterate a little bit and say, well, what about this? Or how about that? Or do a quick outline of something that's not necessarily a finalized, formalized proposal, but something that gets us in the ballpark. What would be the next step, the first step toward actually moving forward? So for example, a couple examples. I was speaking recently with a small business that is growing in that they're starting to add some different things, different partnerships. And what this is creating is a bit of a, well, more than a bit of a muddled message. What are we anymore? And how are we presenting this to the client? And so their need, since they don't have a full-time marketing person, is how can we pull all this together into some strategic coherence and into some message? And so what we started talking about as a fix was not a one-day clarity session, but maybe a time of over 3 months of a part-time chief marketing officer role that I could play to help pull all the threads of the strategy together and the messaging and help make this thing coherent and get everybody aligned. Now, I haven't played that role before for other companies, but it's one I could very naturally play. In fact, I love the idea of being able to work on a longer term basis. And so my first step was to outline a basic concept document, just high-level outline. Let's see if we can get agreement on that, and then we see if we can move forward. Another instance in working with my pharmaceutical clients is that a lot of my consulting and workshop work has been for the training department, commercial training department, workshops for the trainers, services for the trainers. Now, the trainers are primarily working with the field forces. That's where all the numbers are. There's a huge hundreds and thousands of field reps and field managers. By and large, although I know that's a big market, my offerings have been restricted to the trainers, but I've wondered at times, is there something I can do with my clarity offerings that reaches to the sales reps, because I know sales reps need to learn how to be clear and simple and distill their message. Well, with the corona crisis, a lot of sales forces have now been sidelined. they are not able to go out and visit healthcare professionals. And what many of my clients are feeling, the felt need is, how can we upskill, keep our people busy, make things better for our reps, and offer them new things? So, my fix that I've been proposing is virtual workshops for reps, taking a subset of this clarity message and positioning it as how do you sell more effectively, and proposing that fix and running it past a number of people in my network to see if they think it's a good idea, how it could be packaged, and what the price is. And by doing those first steps, I've now arrived at a package that I can customize and am now offering to my clients. It's a whole new offering, very closely related to what I've done before, but because they have different feelings, different needs, I now have a different fix. One that could actually potentially be a bigger thing than what I normally do. So here's what I'd encourage you to do. Take those 3 F's. Sit down and think about, what are my clients really feeling? What is their felt need right now? What can I do to bring something to that's a real fix for that need? And what's the next step? What's the first step toward trying to move to an actual solution providing that you can do, business that you can create, that may be different, may be closely related, it may be almost exactly what you normally do, but because you've slightly altered what you've got, maybe there's a whole new ballgame for you.